Peace and welcome. Welcome, everyone. Just going to give it a couple of moments to see who comes into the chat room. And of course, I'm locating something at the last moment. Oh, wow. My God. Hola, ¿cómo está? Welcome. Bienvenidos. Bienvenidos. Okay. So it's gonna give it a couple moments. I had a few minutes before I have a client coming, and I thought I would come on to give a little bit of morning inspiration. For those of us out here in the East, it's really cold. It was, I don't know, it got down to 9 degrees last night. And right now, it is a sunny 13 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's going to go up to 24 degrees and a little chance of snow. So that's wonderful. Wonderful. All right. So just cleaning my glasses, and I see more people are starting to arrive. So I'm just going to give it a couple more minutes. Put my cleaning cloth over there. I had to clean my specs. And a couple of things that I wanted to locate, and I probably should have, I generally usually don't plan my live. And then, I started thinking, oh, I need to do a live. I'm being called to do a live. And then all of a sudden, the inspiration of what the live is going to be about starts to hit me. And figuring out what I'm going to bring on. So, how is everyone today? How is everyone? Let's see. All right. Okay. Just getting out some cards. Sipping my organic brew with maple syrup. It is awesome. Oh, while we're waiting, let me go ahead and mention on Saturday, I'm going to have at least one live on Saturday. I will have a special guest, and this special guest and I are going to discuss the monsters that live within you. Yes, we all have monsters in us. And so I'll let that slip, what gender, she is going to discuss the best way to extricate those monsters, those demons, those creepy crawlies that exist within us. And these monsters, and they are very real. They are real as you and I. I don't know if I use the term flesh and blood, but they are real. And these monsters that live within us slowly seep our life force away. Very insidiously, very little by little. Mess with our minds. Treat our bodies like we're zombies. And yeah, so this will be this Saturday, December 31st, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yes, we do create these monsters by what we choose to consume. And sometimes these monsters absorb into our bodies from the environment. So you're not going to want to miss it, because these monsters affect all of us. And they're parasites. And they literally biologically suck our life force away. And after we have this amazing discussion with this amazing woman who is just beautiful inside and out, and she's just a thrill, and you're going to love her as much as I do. And she's going to give you some tips, and we're going to really discuss some really, I mean, you know, I'm kind of halfway joking about this, by calling it monsters, but this is a really serious topic, and you're not going to want to miss it. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be this Saturday. God's willing, all the elements willing, you know, stuff happens. But if all goes as planned, this will be on Saturday, December 31st at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if for whatever reason you happen to miss the show, of course, it will be in the broadcast. So make sure to like this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And depending if you're on the phone, tablet, or at your computer, laptop, or desktop, Mac or iOS, yes, iOS, Mac, look in the video section, and you will you can scroll down. The videos are, what do you call it, ascended numbers, most recent first, and if you go down, you know, you'll be able to find it. Okay, my voice is a little bit groggy because this is you're the first people that I'm speaking to this morning. I had the nicety of waking up alone this morning. I have no idea what that is. I think that's some kind of leaf. I don't know what that is. It's some kind of leaf that fell on my chime. Not sure where that came from. That's kind of gross. It was like a dead leaf from probably one of my plants. Okay, so we have quite a few people on with us, so I want to go ahead and bring in the chimes. And while I do that, since we haven't pulled from our, there we go, 4 agreements, let's go ahead and do that, because I have approximately 18 minutes before my client comes. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you, Justice. Thank you. So welcome, Macabre Menace and Ava Sophia and Music Heals Me, who of course was the first one in the chat room today. Welcome, Chris. Let's see. Oh, welcome, Laura. Laura, are you feeling better, hon? I know you're fighting. Did you have pneumonia or the flu? I hope you're feeling better. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and let me drop the chat room. Yes, Saturday. No, did I say Saturday? Oh my gosh, I didn't mean to say Saturday. I meant to say Sunday. Sunday the 31st. Sunday the 31st. Sunday the 31st at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that is when we're going to discuss the monsters that live within you and destroy your life from inside out. And we have to take this serious. We have to take this serious. We have to take this serious. Okay. Yes, I do. You've asked me before. Yes, I do. I do. I do. Sunday the 31st at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Pennsylvania time. I'm not sure what time that would be in Japan. Okay. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time, my dear sister artist, you know, to get your solid footing back. But I'm so happy that you are feeling better, okay? Because we need more of your beautiful artwork gracing our world. Please check out Laura Iverson. Her username on Facebook, Facebook pages is Zen Breeze, okay? And she's www.zenbreeze.com. And are you on Etsy? I'm sure she is. She's probably Zen Breeze on Etsy. Okay, so let's take a nice deep centering breath to welcome us all into this sacred space, this sacred circle. So I wish you peace. I wish you peace and great bliss. We're all in this together. And you know, those monsters that I spoke of, those monsters, they destroy us from the inside out and wreak havoc on our mind, our mental functioning. You know, these monsters, sometimes people think it's mental illness, you know, people who are constantly on the edge and ready to snap and angry. We're so overrun with these parasitical monsters that they quite literally change our personality. They really do control us. And so Sunday, the 31st, we're going to discuss them. It's going to be a serious conversation. I'm sure you're going to take away from the conversation with some very important things to know. And I thought it would be great to do it at the very last day of the year as we're about to go into the new year. And if you look back in my archives, you'll see a video interview that I did with suburban herbalista Cherise, and we touched a little bit on those monsters, and she gave you some good tips as well. And this is no joke, and we have to get serious on this. All right, so okay, so I pulled from the deck. Let me hold it up again, the 4 agreements. And let me just keep an eye on the time, the 4 agreements. And we have from the chapter, Don't Take Anything Personally. Transform your life. Transform your life. Look at that. Standing barefoot on the ocean, on the beach, feeling those good vibrations, raising your hands, saying Hineni, which is Hebrew for here I am, ready to take on life. Let's see. When you refuse to take things personally, you avoid many upsets in your life. Your feelings of anger, jealousy, and even your sadness will simply disappear if you don't take things personally. I apologize. I realize I'm speaking with a lot of force this morning. Must be the hormones. You know, those hormones get kicking in and get forceful. Justice, I love your image. Oh, I love those afros. Soft puffs indeed. I love them. I needed to wrap my own dreadlocks up because it is cold outside, and that cold dries out the hair. So yeah, so we got don't take anything personally. How often do we go about our day taking things personally? You know, it's, when we really sit back and think about it, so many feelings and notions of being upset or angry all stem from external influences. What happens to us, and we start to ruminate on it. Just think you're in a checkout line and the cashier has decided that day, or seemingly is being quite rude and not very favorable. I remember that happened a couple of years ago. I don't remember all the details, but I remember there's a cashier somewhere, and she was really rude, just unkind. And I said something to her. I think I said something not quite snarky, but just drawing attention to her, how she was behaving. And then she just let down that she had been diagnosed with some sort of illness or something like that. Either someone died in her family or some sort of illness. And, it was in that moment. And this is before I read the Four Agreements. But, we always, at least I do, need that remembrance to be reminded that, hey, the universe does not revolve around me. I am the universe. I am my own universe. So I should revolve around me. And so someone else's whatever is not about me. It's not about you. And if we can, actually, my comment is, actually, and I'm going to hopefully go back to what I was saying. In the Buddhist tradition that I'm in, we're ordained as lay ministers. And I'm only bringing this up because you said that. But in our group and with our students and everything, we do address all of the ordained ministers as sensei, which simply means teacher, or as in our tradition, which is sort of a blend between Zen and Jodo Shinshu. It's non-sectarian, but that's the lineage, and we do. Like my teacher, we call him Reverend Koyo Sensei. But anyway, back to what I was saying, it's really important that we take a step back and realize that the other person that we're interacting with is their own universe. And they have, different things that are revolving in their life, and just keeping up with the time, revolving around their life that for lack of better terminology, is causing them to present in the world in a way that other people might perceive as they're being rude or they're not nice to me. But we all got our stuff. And one of the things that can help us to take a step back is what I wanted to discuss today, the first source of life, which is our breath. And what I call it, our first source of life, is the moment we enter through that stargate. And yes, it is a stargate. Every natural born woman is born with a stargate, because when she births babies into this realm, they're coming from one realm into this physical realm. And being within the womb is sort of like that stasis halfway point, not really here, but not really here. We're still enveloped in the darkness. And then we're brought through the stargate. Okay. And the moment we come out, what's the first thing that the midwife, that the nurse, that the midwife looks for? Is the breath, is the breathing, wanting to hear the baby's lungs. So when we take a moment to step back and to breathe, by doing that, we're able to recognize any faux pas that we're about to create. And I wanted to bring up, so I wanted to share with you that, we all are trying to figure out life, figure out where we fit in the scheme of things, figure out what's going on. And the most important thing is to figure out who we are, what our mission is. Some of us, our mission is to just be, to just emanate our vibration, our frequency, to hold down the fort, to keep the fires going with those raised vibrations. And some of us, our mission is to go out on the forefront. Is to go out on the forefront and face down all of our external demons. And for some of us, it's to shine a light brightly, to be like a lighthouse and a beacon. But before any of us can do any of that, the only way we're going to be able to manifest and get our job done, our beingness done, is our breath. If we don't have a full understanding how to operate in our breath, in our breathing, we won't be able to go within. We won't be able to know who we are. We will constantly be operating on an external principle. So one of the things you've always heard me, along with what I say about learning to go within, in our center within, my ministry is called Sanctuary Center Within for a reason. We have all of our wisdom within us. How do we access that wisdom? Is through our breath. And as you know, I love the tarot. Okay. And many of you are really, about the external, the exoteric meaning of the tarot, but the esoteric meaning of the Fool. It's not just about walking off a cliff and being willing to take a risk. The Fool card represents our soul descending into physical matter, standing on that hard ground. Coming from the spiritual realm, the eternal, energetic realm, the bright, hot, white sun. The Fool, remember what we learned? Fool comes from Fallis. I'm not sure if that's the way you pronounce it in the French or in the Latin, but it's breath, bellows. You know how bellow, if you ever seen any old-fashioned movies, or if you have a, what do you call it? If you have a fireplace to get the fire going, when you get that fire going, you use a bellows. Remember, it looks like this, the bellows, to blow, okay? The Fool is also young and vibrant because our breath, proper breathing, not only helps us to connect with the divine spark that is within us, within, whatever surrounds us, it also helps to, keep us, that vital life force principle is in the breath. So if you're not functioning on a level where you're able to deep breathe, you're able to really sit and focus on your breath, you're not going to be able to function to your fullest potential in this world. You're not going to be, now you look at the Fool, I call it she is androgynous, finest regalia, finest garbs, the purity of heart, this little white rose. You're not going to be able to function in that state, in that mode of consciousness, that first source of life consciousness, that vitality, that vital principle, if you're not breathing properly, deep breathing. And it's one of the first steps in people say, oh, I can't meditate because you're not breathing properly. Most people breathe right up to here, just up to here, to keep you upright. True breathing all the way down into the diaphragm. Right here, diaphragm is like right under here. Ugh, don't want to push too hard on that. That's not good. Don't want to break my xiphoid process. But learning to breathe all the way down. Now, when you first do it, and when you're not used to doing it, you will find that it's tight, it hurts, it feels uncomfortable. And what do most of us in the Western world do when something feels uncomfortable? And we're like, oh, let's go to the path of least resistance. Therefore, I'm not going to breathe deep. I'm going to let that go. No, you will not get to where you need to go if you do not have proper breathing, because you'll creep there. You'll have anxiety, depression. You'll feel low. I want to bring up a graphic, and then I'm going to have to cut this part off, and we can come back later So I just want to leave this graphic with you. And then I'll do a part 2 sometime later today. Let's see. Bring this up. And again, I apologize if I'm almost halfway shouting because I feel fired up. I feel very led to discuss this with you. Okay, so many of you may know that my doing business as name is Mend Soul. Mend is an acronym for meditation, energy, energetics, energy, nature, and deep diaphragmatic breathing. That is the name that I have for my services. So if you look on this page, benefits of deep breathing, a natural tranquilizer, okay? So what do we get from deep breathing? And this is from Dynamic Wellness. I saw this and I thought it was perfect. Deep breathing helps us to, it increases the serotonin levels in our minds. It helps us to calm the mind, helps us to calm the mind. For those of you who deal with anxiety, deep breathing helps to calm the mind. It helps us to center our thoughts. Deep breathing allows us to take in the full amount of oxygen that our lungs need in order to nourish our blood, our muscles, our cells. I did that so inside out. Deep breathing helps us to nourish our blood, okay? Puts good oxygen into our blood, and which goes into our cells and reaches out into our muscles. Here's something else I was going to say, but it just kind of, oh, yes. And deep breathing right there expels damaging toxins. Deep breathing helps us to get rid of, to fill up that space from where the carbon, I think it's carbon dioxide that we expel. Deep breathing helps us to really purify our insides with fresh oxygen that we need. Deep breathing lowers heart rate and respiratory rates. Yes, the deeper you breathe, the less that rapid breathing happens. Deep breathing helps to lower blood pressure. It enhances mood. And hold on one second. Deep breathing helps to relieve stress, anxiety, anger. Okay? We can survive maybe a couple of days without water, a couple of days without food, but only a couple of minutes without deep breathing. So listen, beloved, I have to go. My client is here. She just messaged me, and I don't want to let her wait too long. I will continue this series later. I wish you peace. I wish you great bliss. Let's take a moment to remember our ancestors and all those who have transitioned before us. Much love. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share. See you later.